What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And today, what do you know? We got another SCP for you guys. So this one is SCP-303, the Doorman. So before anything, when I saw the thumbnail for this, it literally looked like a big meatball walking with a big ass grin. Like, it looked hella goofy, and yo, that's all it takes for me to click a video. So that's what we're going to get into today. I hope you guys, if you guys watched this SCP before, let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below, and if it's one of your favorite ones. And also, if you do have a favorite one that I haven't covered already, feel free to put in the comment section below too. I might check it out in the future. Also, remember, smash the like button as well too. Join the family. I make content, SCP content daily, so you'll always get your fix of SCP heat. And especially if you love my reactions, it will be the best place to be, to smash the sub button as well too, because the heat's going to keep on going. It's going to keep on cooking, and I'd love to have you on the train with us because we ain't stopping. We're going full throttle. So yeah, and also remember, the link to the original video will be in the description below. Feel free to check them out, because without them, there'll be nothing to react to. So without all out the way, let's see what this meatball is all about, and let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-303, the Doorman, or the Meatball Man, who we shall see which one it is.
The Foundation ordered a male D-Class personnel to torture D-3032 with a combat knife until she opened the door.
Okay, so this SCP has two different parts to it. Mind you, the -2, I'm catching that a lot now, because most SCPs don't have that, and some of them do, and I would never see it coming. I need to pay attention to that.
2 hours of tormenting, D-3032 died from blood loss. She made no attempt to open the door in the entire process. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation Euclid class object, SCP-303.
Euclid, ooh, haven't had one of these in a while.
SCP-303, also known as the Doorman, is a nude, sexless, emaciated humanoid figure with reddish-brown skin.
Loki thought his head was a little bit bigger, but I mean, it's close to the size of a meatball, so was I wrong anyway?
Instead of normal facial features, its head is dominated by an extremely large mouth, which bears a set of oversized human teeth.
Holy shit.
It continually vocalizes a wheezing noise loud enough to be heard from the other side of most solid doors. SCP-303 will periodically materialize behind any closed door.
Loki thought that was a dump that he took, and it was like doing some crazy stuff, because you never know with SCPs, no cap. Like, I really thought that was the case, but this is kind of cool.
Or other entryway barrier opposite an observer, chosen by unknown means. 303 will then remain behind the door for an indeterminate amount of time. Any individual attempting to open the door or barrier will experience intense, paralyzing fear that lasts until 303 dematerializes.
Whoa, so he materializes right next to the door, but he can't open the door for some reason? Hold on, let me go back, guys. I want to take this all in.
SCP-303 will periodically materialize behind any closed door, hatch, or other entryway barrier opposite an observer, chosen by unknown means.
Hella creepy.
303 will then remain behind the door for an indeterminate amount of time. Any individual attempting to open the door or barrier will experience intense...
Whoa, okay, one, let's reel this shit back in. Why would you go towards the creature? Like, wouldn't you want to go out of the way? Like, let's say there was only one way out of this room and the creature's at that door. Wouldn't you want to get away from the door, because you wouldn't know if the creature could open the door or not? This is uncanny. So you wouldn't just assume, oh, it's waiting outside, let me try to open the door and like run past him. No, you assume that he's going to try to come in or something, so you could back the hell up, go in the way, like go in the corner of a room. But this dude would want to go straight towards the SCP. That's not common sense, bro.
Paralyzing fear that lasts until 303 dematerializes. However, analysis indicates that SCP-303 is not, in fact, purposefully inducing fear in the victims. SCP-303 does not allow itself to come into direct visual contact with any observer, and has never allowed any individual to view more than 10% of its form. When the door or other entryway barrier is partially or completely transparent, 303 will materialize in an orientation that leaves only 10% or less of its body visible.
A floating meatball! Guys, I'm on it today, man. This dude's a floating meatball, bro.
Or cause effects of fog or frost on the transparent surface to achieve the same effect.
That's crazy.
If SCP-303 is approached from a direction in which there is not a solid object or door-breaking line of sight, it will dematerialize before direct visual contact is made.
Damn.
Any electronic or complex mechanical devices that 303 encounters will temporarily be disabled. 303 has made no recorded attempt to engage any observer physically or verbally. In an incident, a Foundation agent...
Wait. Sorry. How would they know how, like, his body? How would they know what he looks like then? If he only shows 10% of his body at the whole time, and if there's nothing blocking him, he dematerialized. So how in the hell would the SCP Foundation know the 100% of his body? Because they showed, like, 100% of his body. We shouldn't know that with the information given to us, at least at this moment. But who knows?
Any observer physically or verbally. In an incident, a Foundation agent was showering in her private quarters bathroom when she became aware of the presence of 303 on the opposite side of the shower curtain. It was wheezing extremely loudly. Startled by the discovery, she accidentally struck the shower curtain, causing it to sway outwards. The curtain partially wrapped around 303, revealing that it was less than 0.5 meters from the curtain, standing erect and facing the shower. The agent...
Oh, I have such a sick mind when I heard erect. Okay, let's just continue. Yo!
Agent reports spending approximately the next 3 hours sobbing in the shower, quietly, as not to disturb 303. Luckily, the agent was able to exit the shower when 303's wheezing stopped. In another incident, an agent encountered 303 inside the Foundation's break room. He was attempting to obtain coffee creamer from the counter cabinet when he heard loud wheezing emanating from the cabinet and was overtaken by overwhelming fear. The agent later reported that 303 was huddled in the cabinet in a fetal position. The agent was too afraid to open the cabinet at that moment. But later, when the cabinet was examined, one container of powdered coffee creamer was missing. This is the first recorded instance of SCP-303 removing an object from a scene. After the object missing incident, a professor was discovered dead from dehydration in a second-floor storage room. It was estimated that the professor spent up to 5 days in the storage room before being discovered. A small 4-meter by 4-meter decompression chamber separated the storage room from the adjoining hallway. 303 occupied the decompression chamber for the duration of the professor's isolation in the storage room, disallowing entry from either direction and making it impossible for him to leave.
For 4 days, bruh? Yo, this guy wanted him to die. No cap. Like, that's crazy.
After all the above incidents, a team consisting of a researcher, a professor, 4 security personnel, and 4 D-Class personnel were assigned to immediately perform on-site testing. The following test took place at the door to a room from the first-floor hallway, which SCP-303 was reported to be within the room. One male D-Class personnel, D-3031, was ordered to open the door and threatened that if he does not open the door, he would be transferred to another horrible SCP duty for non-compliance.
Yo, the SCP Foundation don't give 2 fucks for the D-Class personnel, bro. Like, yo, damn.
He refused, citing extreme fear. Then, the Foundation threatened him again, saying that if he doesn't do it, he would be terminated on the spot for non-compliance. He refused, claiming that if he were to do so, that SCP-303 would hurt him. He was terminated on the spot. Shortly after, a female D-Class person...
Low-key thought they were just, like, saying that just for him to, like, you know, do it, but they weren't playing around. Yo!
Personnel, D-3032, that had witnessed the termination of D-3031 was ordered to open the door and threatened that she would be terminated on the spot for non-compliance. She refused, claiming that if she opened the door, that SCP-303 would hurt her. And although D-3032 was not terminated, the Foundation ordered a male D-Class personnel, D-3033, to torture D-3032 with a combat knife until she D3. The Foundation ordered a male D-Class.
Okay, I need this explained. Like, is these D-Class personnel not part of the SCP, and they only have that -3 because they're dealing with the SCP on hand right now. That's why they have that dash by the name, because this is a third person that is attempting to do whatever they're trying to do with the SCP. Is that the case, or they're part of the SCP? Because I'm assuming they're not at this moment in time, because it's 1, 2, 3. I feel like sometimes the dashes just mean like people that have something to do with the SCPs. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Obviously, I could be wrong, but let me know in the comment section below, please.
Personnel D3033 to torture D3032 with a combat knife until she opened the door. After 2 hours of tormenting, D3032 died from blood loss.
Damn.
She made no attempt to open the door in the entire process. The Foundation once assigned...
I wonder what's like really forcing them not to be like this scared of what could happen compared to what's definitely going to happen. You getting shot in the head or you getting stabbed to death. Like, for them still not to open the door and knowing that this SCP didn't like have any physical contact with any humans at this moment, it's kind of crazy.
Dr. Hessen to test on SCP-303, along with SCP-729-J.
Ooh,
SCP-729-J is a soft toy that gives death stare and corrode anything or anyone who even catches a slight look at it. When Dr. Hessen was told to walk through the door with 303 on the other side while holding SCP-729-J, 303 promptly opened the door for Dr. Hessen and ushered her through before quickly exiting the room, with Dr. Hessen showing no sign of the usual fear response. 303 was found 6 hours later in an abandoned storage closet in a fetal position, sucking its thumb.
He couldn't hang, bro. He dipped. He couldn't hang. Oh my god, what a little baby.
Appears to have claimed the second-floor storage room as its own. It has so far disallowed any personnel entry to the room since May 4th of 2010.
Look at this dude. I'm dead.
It leaves periodically to acquire Foundation property, which is then moved into the second-floor storage room.
Oh my god.
To date, 303 has acquired 1 cryotube, 3 sets of standard Foundation surgical equipment, 2 D-class research cadavers, 1 gasoline-powered generator, a variety large quantities of
this
chemicals,
dude's smart now,
and also a container of powdered coffee creamer. In addition to this, a number of classified materials have been obtained by SCP-303. Staff are still attempting to determine what specific purposes SCP-303 may have for these materials. 303 was also suspected of stealing SCP-573 and SCP-899. This incident was reported in Site-62's containment breach record. It was about 1:34 a.m. that day, and 303 manifested outside Site-62's main entrance. Security personnel were panicking and fleeing. 10 minutes later, 303 opened Site-62's main entrance doors. Video feeds overcome with static for a period of 36 seconds. Video blackout follows possible route of entity through site. Then, a SCP personnel reported seeing 303. It headed towards inanimate SCP storage vaults. Security team was tasked to contain 303 immediately.
Damn.
After about 20 minutes, the entire security team was incapacitated by SCP-303. 303 exits Site-62 unopposed, and video interference finally ceases. Security later reports an overwhelming feeling of terror, preventing them from acting against 303.
Wow.
Upon inspection of Site-62,
what's really going on, though?
SCP-573 was found missing. Warning sent out to all sites to be on guard for the entity. However, things didn't just end there. Around 6:17 in the evening the next day, personnel at an unknown site report feeling of unease and panic. As the site is situated in the Rocky Mountains, it was put on lockdown while nearby sites were contacted. All the video feeds of the site were disrupted. Power fails, distress signal deactivates automatically. The site was unresponsive to outside contact. After an hour, MTF Alpha 16 finally arrived at the site. But all personnel found dead of evisceration or remain missing. MTF fails to verify location of anomaly housed at the site. SCP-899 declared missing.
What's with this SCP though? And that's physical contact. Like, I thought this guy doesn't make any physical contact.
As
Oh my
SCP-303
God.
has not yet been known to travel beyond the boundaries of an unknown site of the SCP Foundation, the entire area of the site is currently considered as SCP-303's containment area.
Wow.
All rooms in the site are to be altered, as to have 2 entrances separated by a distance of 10 meters or line of sight.
Good.
Personnel are to be distributed evenly throughout the facility, with available radio or intercom contact, so that encounters may be resolved quickly.
Get him!
Personnel who witness SCP-303 are to be submitted for immediate psychiatric evaluation. All
Dang.
SCP objects housed at the same site since before April 6, 2010 are to be transferred to another site, one at a time. Before we end this...
Okay, that's pretty cool. This SCP is a lot more dangerous than I thought from the beginning of this video. It was just interesting to actually see the people so afraid to go in contact or open the door where SCP-303 was at. I want to know what was that urge, because they're saying like he doesn't do anything physical, or he doesn't do it like on purpose. It's just like a feeling that they get. So I really hope maybe in another episode they go into depth about that, and what's that feeling, what's really happening to the people that are in contact with this SCP to make them not do, you know, what they need to do and rather choose death. So yeah, this SCP was interesting. I like it. Not my favorite, but I mean it was still a good it's a meatball. Come on guys, it's a meatball. So yeah, it's good, but it ain't great, but it was a good SCP. Alright, so with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed my reaction, and if you guys did, please remember to smash that like button for me before you sign up out of here, and remember to smash the sub button as well too, especially if you made it all the way to the end of the video. You haven't subbed? Come on man, quit playing with the kids. Smash the sub button. If you like SCPs and you like my reactions, it's going to be the best place to be to get that SCP dose of heat. So yeah, I hope to see you guys on the next one as well too, and with that being said, that concludes the show. I'll catch you guys on the next one. With